week on Inside the NFL. Another show with all you need to know.
It ain't no surprise either. It ain't no surprise. It ain't no surprise. It ain't no surprise.
And in our cover story, Giants go-to running back Rodney Hampton. He's ready to let go of the offensive burden.
The Giants realize that they have a lot of quality running backs, and no matter who you have in the game, they got going to put out 110%.
Also, our player diary. Warren Moon. What happens when the cheers become jeers?
There is no worse feeling than losing the game, playing poorly, and then having to listen to the boos. And the absolute worst part is the effect it has on your family.
And now, the show the pros watch, Inside the NFL, with your hosts, Len Dawson, Nick Bonicati, and Chris Collinsworth.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's show. Chris, there should be a smiling Nick Bonicati over there because this past week in New York City was the Sports Legends Dinner. It's to raise money for the Miami Project, the largest research center in the world dedicated to finding a cure for spinal cord injured people. How'd it go?
Lenny, was fantastic. We had 1,400 people at the Waldorf Astoria, and thanks to great sports legends like Chris Evert, Flo Joe, Mike Dick, and Roger Staubach, and many others, we raised over $1 million for very valuable spinal cord research.
Thanks to you, because I know you put an awful lot of time and effort into that project. Let's talk about football. Quarter of the season over so far, and Chris, if I said who's the unexpected pleasure team, who would you say?
Seattle. Without question, they've been a real shock to me so far in the season. Last year, they were the worst team in the history of the NFL offensively, but this year they have Rick Meyer. Bobby Ross, the coach of the Chargers, compared him to John Elway, but Lenny, he looks like a young Joe Montana. The way that he slips that pass rush, makes those off-balance throws, Rick Meyer is going to be a star.
Well, in the NFC, the Eagles are a surprise, but to me, the biggest surprise is the New York Giants. Dan Reeves took a depleted defense, added linebackers Carlton Bailey and Michael Brooks, and with Keith Hamilton's 5 sacks, the Giants' defense is now the #1 in the NFL.
In the Central Divisions, Detroit and Cleveland lead. But bear in mind, Detroit has the benefit of that 5th-place schedule. Those are the surprises. Chris, what about the disappointments?
Houston is at the top of my list. Either Jack Pardee or Buddy Ryan has to go because it's just not working with those two guys together. There is no excuse for a team with that kind of talent to be 1-3 at this point in the
Well,
season.
the NFC, the biggest disappointment has to be the Green Bay Packers. Brett Favre is feeling the heat in the kitchen. Teams are blitzing him with good results. I don't understand the stubbornness of general manager Ron Wolf and not signing Tony Bennett. That's killing that team. And Terrell Buckley and his secondary giving up late game touchdowns is costing them wins.
Bad news for the Packers. Last year, at least, they had an offense. This year, they don't have an offense or a defense. Even with all the money that they have spent, I guess it shows you really can't buy a championship team with money. Last week, 2 teams off to a surprising start. The Eagles and Jets met at the Meadowlands, and one player called it a measuring stick game. Well, this one measured up to expectations.
Oh, it's going to be a fun day today, guys. Oh, it's going to be a real good one today. Get that monkey off our back. Get rid of this AFC and NFC bull today. Oh, man. Do I know them? I'm tired of hearing about them. Ready to put that monkey to rest, man. Get that potato sack off of my head.
Same team, man. On a mission, baby. And heck with that 3-0 record. We 0-0 right now. New season. Let's go. Past don't mean nothing. It's only the present. Go, baby. Present controls the future.
Hey, we know what we got to do. Ain't no need to talk no more. I ain't got no pep talk. Nobody need no pep talk. They ain't aware of us going 4-0. We going 4-0. Do the job. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
The Eagles may have been intent on burying the past, but the Jets were equally intent on burying the bird.
Looks over the middle, firing the football to Johnny Mitchell for a touchdown.
A flawed Eagles defensive scheme ensured that Mitchell's first score wouldn't be his last.
Listen up here. You want to annihilate them? 19M. If they go over here to the slot. Hey, you see that? 19-0. You just go to 19.
Jets up 14-0 and just 12 yards away from making it worse. Esiason rolling left, same case. Close to pass, wide open, Johnny Mitchell, and he walks in. Johnny Mitchell, the tight end, had nobody within 5 yards of him at the 5-yard line.
It ain't no surprise either. It ain't no surprise. It ain't no surprise. It ain't no surprise. Hell yeah, it ain't no surprise.
And the got themselves a big hole. Slot to the near side. Cunningham straight back. He's being chased. He starts to run up the middle. He throws the football down. Incomplete pass.
Oh, Randall's hurt. Randall's hurt. Randall's coming off with a limp, and the Jet fans are cheering. The Jet fans are looking to the left side of the Eagles bench where Oko Davis and David Price, the Eagles trainers, are working on Randall Cunningham's knee.
Man, this is unbelievable.
Cunningham was later diagnosed with a broken leg. And while Esiason and the Jets thought the Eagles might throw in the towel, Bubby Brister simply threw strikes.
Brister under center. Third down. He's back under a rush. Fires the pass. Complete to Bavaro. Leaps over a man.
Any momentum that score generated, however, was quickly surrendered.
Single setback, Blair Thomas. Play action. Esiason loops it to Johnny Mitchell running down the near sideline.
And Johnny Mitchell brought the pass, put on the brake, cut back to his right. 5 Eagles overran him. Then down the field, Wes Hopkins had a shot to make a tackle. He missed him, and Eric Allen missed him at the 4. And the Jets come up big. And the Eagles are back in a hole.
Field is on! AFC is the Jets!
Reports of the Jets' home field advantage proved premature.
Keep working. That's all. Absolutely, man. You know, hey, look down for
3. Double tight end. Single setback Walker. Brister fires over the middle. Complete to Calvin Williams for a touchdown.
Calvin Williams' score helped the Eagles tie matters, but a subsequent safety gave the Jets the lead. But not a sense of safety, as no lead seemed safe in this thriller.
Esiason play action. He's back. He's firing. And it's intercepted again on the far side of the field. Intercepted by Allen. Spinning at the 10. Out to the 15. The 20. Cutting to his left at the 25-30. Allen at the 40. Allen at the 45-50. 45-40. Eric Allen down the far sideline. Steps over a man. He's going to go! Eric Allen! Eric Allen with the miraculous return of an interception. And the Eagles take the lead.
And the bubble has burst for Boomer Esiason. And the Jets come out with no points.
And that is some bad tackling by the Jets offense. You don't expect them to be tackling, but all of a sudden it goes from 30 to 28. Now it's 34-30 Eagles.
Eric Allen with an absolutely miraculous return.
And now, is this the miracle of Meadowlands 3?
This game could be in a museum. 4th down and 7. The Eagles can win the game if they stop the Jets from a first down on this play.
Hey, we can do it, baby. Let's go. First down, right here. First down.
4th and 7 from the Eagles 28. Mathis in motion. Esiason back. He's rolling. Still rolling. He's looking. He's going to try to run. And he is banged out of bounds, and he won't get the first down. He won't get the first down. Byron Evans flattens him, and the Eagles are going to win this game.
Wow. Hey, Keith, way to go. What a super game, Keith. Super game, Keith. Hey, Eric, what a super game. Damn it.
Take that to the bank. 4-0 and on the go. And it feels great. God, it feels good. Woo! I'm going to Disneyland. I'm going to Disneyland.
Last Sunday, the Bears were celebrating their 1,000th game in franchise history, and Chicago's defense, with extra effort from the likes of Trace Armstrong, honored the occasion by shutting out Atlanta. Chicago didn't score any touchdowns either, but they did put points on the board thanks to 2 Kevin Butler field goals, 1 good for 52 yards.
Clean snap, clean place, kick right into the upright, and it is good.
Time was running out for Atlanta, but the Falcons only needed a touchdown and were finally able to drive downfield. On 4th and 6, they put the Bears defense to a final test.
Ball to the 13, this is ball game. Tolliver ducks it under center, he takes it, he's back to throw. Under pressure over the middle he goes, he's got his man, rises, and he's gunned down short of the first down.
Chicago sent Atlanta home for a bye with their 5th straight loss. Richie Pettibone was hoping to avoid another loss for his team Monday night in Miami, but on only the third offensive play of the game, the Dolphins proved it wouldn't be an easy night for the Redskins.
Here's Marino in the shotgun. Throws to the near side of the field. It is caught at the 40-yard line. Here's Tony Martin with a football. He's going to go the distance to the 20.
Tony Martin's 80-yard score and a touchdown by Mark Higgs gave Miami a 14-0 advantage. But after replacing Kerry Conklin with Rich Gannon, Washington battled back.
Rolls right, being chased. Looks in the end zone, throws in the end zone. Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
The Redskins were down by 7, but Miami stopped their comeback in the final minutes.
Fires across the middle. It is intercepted. Picked up at the 50-yard line by Vincent.
Troy Vincent's interception assured Washington would fall to 1-3, the bottom of the NFC East, while Miami heads to Cleveland tied atop its division at 3-1. Coming up, San Francisco's convincing victory over the Vikings. And our cover story, Giants' well-worn running back Rodney Hampton.
With Hampton ailing, the Giants are going to have to make some adjustments in that backfield if they hope to beat the Washington Redskins this week. But, Nick, making adjustments in the backfield is nothing new for the Miami Dolphins. They've already had a changing of the guard. Terry Kirby has replaced Mark Higgs. Now, the Dolphins are taking on Cleveland in Cleveland this week. You think that was a good move?
Well, Lenny, Kirby is and should be the starting running back for the Dolphins because he gives them a slashing running style that they haven't had in a long time. And on top of that, he's a great receiver coming out of the backfield from Marino on third down. But I think Shula has to make another change in that offense. It's at the receiver position. He has to bench the unproductive Mark Ingram in favor of the younger, faster receivers Tony Martin and rookie O.J. McDuffie. Against an aggressive Cleveland defense, they're going to need this additional firepower.
Well, there's been a real shortage of ammo in Cleveland. You know, Vinny Testaverde gives that offense an added dimension with his mobility, but he's never had a year in which he's thrown more touchdowns than interceptions. And remember who the head football coach is. Bill Belichick is a defensive-minded coach who despises turnovers. Bernie Kosar has the lowest interception percentage in National Football League history, so Belichick would like to play Bernie Kosar, but Bernie's about to play himself out of that lineup.
Chris, I believe that this is the most important game of Bernie Kosar's career. I think he is under tremendous pressure. He has never had to look over his shoulder about being taken out of a ball game. He's been taken out of the last 2 ball games because of ineffectiveness. If he is taken out at home this week, it's going to be not only devastating to Bernie Kosar, but to that Browns team the rest of the year.
Yeah, you really hit on the key because the poor performances have been on the road. At home, he's been very good against Cincinnati and San Francisco. They won both of those games. I think Bernie will bounce back this week. I like the Browns.
You know, Don Shula is just 3 victories away from tying George Halas's career victory mark. And with Dan Marino throwing, I think it's going to be 2 victories away from time after Sunday. I like Miami. Nick?
Well, the offensive line of the Dolphins is definitely going to be tested by the rush and crush defense of Cleveland. But I think led by Webb and Sims, they've got their pride back. They're going to keep the dogs in a pound. And off Dan Marino, I like Miami.
And I think this is going to be a very, very exciting game. Well, from the powers that be in the AFC, we segue to recent Super Bowl champions. This past week, the undefeated Giants had a chance to gauge their progress, and the 49ers continued their search for that elusive quality, consistency.
This season, the 49ers have been an up-and-down team, but last week their flawless all-around performance deserved a perfect 10.
Young's right. Steve drops back to throw. Goes way down the left side. All alone, Jerry Rice into the end zone. Touchdown 49ers.
While a Young to Rice TD pass is normally a thing of beauty, a Jim McMahon toss to anybody is often an ugly duck. Chris Carter's great effort set up a field goal, but there was no Viking to help out on this McMahon misfire.
Pass across the middle. Eric Davis interception. He should go. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown 49ers.
Eric Davis's touchdown gave San Francisco a 14-point lead before Dexter Carter's punt return put Minnesota away for good.
On it on the bounce after dropping it. He is loose. He's down to the 40. He's not going to be caught by the punter. Down on it. 10, 5, touchdown 49ers. Dexter Carter threatening to do it all day. Doesn't.
The 49ers earned their 3rd victory in 5 games. Up ahead for the Vikings are the Tampa Bay Bucks, who last week overcame scorching temperatures and a sizzling performance by Lion running back Barry Sanders.
Andy Holman in motion to the right. Draw play to Barry Sanders. Looking for running room off the right to the 20. Skips to the outside. 10-5. And did he get in? Ooh, yes, he did.
Unfortunately for Detroit, Sanders couldn't do it alone. An ineffective Andre Ware was battered, then benched. And while the Lions got their share of licks on Buck quarterback Craig Erickson, the former Hurricane rode out the storm of pressure by firing a pair of touchdown passes.
And Workman in there as well. Ty J in motion. Play action by Erickson. Rolls to his right. Rolls to his right. May run with the football. Throws it downfield. He has Hall to the 10. 5-2. Touchdown. Tampa Bay. Ron Hall's first of the year.
Tampa Bay prevailed over a Lion team that regroups this week with a bye. After winning their first 3 games against suspect opposition, Dan Reeves' Giants went up to Buffalo and subsequently came crashing down to earth.
And here is the fake handoff, and back to throw is Sims, and he fires it incomplete and then intercepted. It is picked off by Jones. He's at the 20, the 25, the 30, the 40, the 45, midfield, down to the 40, down to the 30, down to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, and in for the touchdown. Henry Jones goes 85 yards on the return.
Ironically, the Giants controlled the ball for much of the game. 2 Phil Simms touchdown passes put New York up by 4 before the Bills offense, asleep all night, woke up in the final minutes.
Kelly waiting down to 3. Takes the snap, backs up, will throw. He's got a touchdown to the tight end, Pete Metzlars. Pete Metzlars, and they're coming off the sideline to mob him in the end zone. The Bills have scored on a drive of...
The going will continue to get rougher for the Giants. This week they face the division rival Redskins in Washington.
And this NFC East battle really is important for the Redskins because a loss would make their record 1-4. They'd be chasing the Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants in their division for a playoff spot. And gentlemen, if they lose, I think they got 2 chances, slim and none, to make the playoffs. Your keys to the game.
Well, I mean, the Giants are definitely going to miss the running of Rodney Hampton. He is out of this ball game. But the key to the Giants' offense is a healthy offensive line. And this week they get guard Eric Moore off suspension. And against the 26th ranked defense of the Washington Redskins, which I think is less than intimidating, Phil Simms is going to have plenty of time to sit in that pocket and look downfield and look for the recently not so reliable and short-armed receivers of Sherrard and Jackson.
You know, every single year you do the same thing. You start banging on wide receivers.
Chris, he didn't say you had alligator arms.
Yeah, don't be so sensitive.
Right. Your arms are shorter than anybody's. I want you to know that. But you were right about one thing. The Redskins are going to have some trouble getting pressure on Phil Simms. This offseason, they lost Jumpy Gathers, Fred Stokes, Wilbur Marshall, and now Charles Mann is out with a knee injury. And the key when you're playing against Phil Simms is getting pressure on him. Lenny, I just don't think the Redskins can get any pressure on him.
The key for Washington winning is Mark Rypien. Now, if you think that Simms is not too mobile, how about a Mark Rypien with a bum knee? If I were the Giants, from the get-go, I would be all out blitzing him, hoping really to knock him out of the ball game so one of those reserve quarterbacks can come in. The reserve quarterbacks have not proven they can win.
I never thought I'd see the day that you were talking about knocking a quarterback out of the game.
They did it to me.
We've all played with knee injuries, and you try to come back. You're a little tentative when you return against the #1 defense. I like the Giants.
I like the Giants as well because I see this as a race. You got the gimpy-kneed Mark Rypien trying to avoid the hamstring pull, Lawrence Taylor, and I see Lawrence Taylor and the Giants winning.
Well, the ball control of the Giants is important. I think backup running back Lewis Tillman will fill the role of Rodney Hampton. Desmond Howard has not been utilized by the Washington Redskins. They haven't figured out how to use this fleet guy. I like the Giants.
Well, I'll tell you this, if Tillman is going to fill Hampton's shoes, he better have some big feet because Rodney Hampton is the league's 2nd leading rusher. He's been the busiest also. But after he was hurt Sunday, Giants coach Dan Reeves was confronted with the I told you so brigade. More from Andrea Joyce on this week's cover story.
kept asking Rodney, "Are you okay?" And Rodney said, "You know, I'm fine."
I'm a running back, and any other running back around the NFL love to have the ball.
When we played the Rams, for example, he carried the ball 40-something times. I had no idea that Rodney carried the ball 40-something times.
You're so hyped during the game, you know, you don't realize how many times you carry the ball until it's over with.
Next month, New York hosts one of the world's most famous marathons, and the 25,000 runners expected are all wary of the wall, that point at 18 or so miles, when the body may shut down. Well, the New York Giants have their own marathon man. Running back Rodney Hampton has been averaging an incredible 31 carries a game, but that workload has left many waiting for him to hit the wall. On Sunday night in Buffalo, Hampton ran into a wall of Bills. His 124th carry of the young season resulted in a sprained left knee and ankle.
Against Buffalo, I got twisted up pretty bad. Played with Bruce Smith, and I don't recall who was the other guy. I tried to spin out of a tackle, and next thing you know, I've been limping for the last 2 days.
41 carries against the Rams, another 32 against the Bills. Hampton has been on pace to smash the NFL record for carries in a season. But that's not welcome news to Giants head coach Dan Reeves. It's a warning. Reeves played running back for the Dallas Cowboys in the 60s and 70s. He knows there's a limit to what a player can endure, and Hampton has reached that point.
You don't want to carry the ball 40 times a game because there's no way you'll make it through the season. I wish I had one less carry for him in Buffalo.
After the game, when the guy told me I carried the ball 41 times, I was like, find the ice, fill up the ice bucket, I'm going to jump in it.
As Hampton tries to rush back into the lineup, Reeves already is planning to reduce his role.
We do have to be smart and have to be on a pace at where we can, you know, hopefully have Rodney at the end of the season in the 16th game and not wear him out early in the year.
Lewis Tillman, who provided a burst of excitement off the bench Sunday, will be getting more work, as will Dave Meggett, a specialist likely to move into a general assignment role.
I'm a team player. I want to do whatever I can to make this team better. And then by Lewis coming in and having a good game the other day, I feel that it'd be good for Lewis to come in, because by Lewis coming in, it'll make this team better.
This is why the Giants need Hampton healthy. He's an uncommon combination of size, speed, and vision.
Feeling, I don't know, he's so pumped, you know, you make a guy miss and you hit a crowd, I mean, you just be pumped up. You're like, bring it on, bring the next guy on.
Could Hampton be the best Giant back of all time? Well, here's the competition. The glamorous Frank Gifford, a back and an end in the 50s and 60s. Ron Johnson, who in 1970 became the Giants' first 1,000-yard rusher. And the little big man, Joe Morris, a star on the 1986 Super Bowl champions. After just 3 seasons, Hampton is 8th on the all-time Giants rushing list. This is a young man who loves the competition, and though banged up, he expects to play this week.
One more deep breath. Exhale.
Yesterday, you know, I was badly walking. Today I'm walking pretty good. So if my progress continue to develop like it's been doing the last 2 days, you'll see Rodney Hampton in uniform Sunday. My father and my mother, they always told me, never be denied. Whatever you want, you know, don't let nobody give it to you. Go out and get it.
After we visited with Rodney Hampton, his hope of playing this week was dashed. Hampton underwent arthroscopic surgery Thursday on his left knee, and at this point the Giants expect he'll miss at least 2 games. Also on the NFL Newswire, the Eric Dickerson story. On Tuesday, he thought he'd been waived by the Falcons. On Wednesday, he didn't show up for practice. Then, citing communication problems, head coach Jerry Glanville said the Falcons wanted to keep Dickerson. On Thursday, he was back with the team. And in Kansas City, weary of questions about Joe Montana's status this week, head coach Marty Schottenheimer consulted with higher powers.
Very cloudy in there. Some sense of uncertainty. Percentages 50-50.
Unfortunately, Marty didn't have HBO's Swami hat and crystal ball. And as I gaze into it, I see that since Joe did not practice on Wednesday or Thursday, he won't play on Sunday. I also see that our Gary Myers, he doesn't need a Swami hat to provide us with inside info on the NFL. Right now, he's with Chris.
Well, Lenny D, you may not know this, but I've got my own crystal ball right here, and it says that Mr. D has lost his mind. Have you ever in your life?
You believe this guy?
I love that. Let's talk a little football. Dan Reeves got his first taste of you nasty New York media types this week. A lot of people are questioning, did he use Rodney Hampton too much?
Well, Chris, Reeves got a little testy this week when I asked him whether 70 carries in the last 7 quarters was a little bit too much for Hampton. He said his basic philosophy on running backs is if they tell him he's tired, he takes him out. If he thinks they're tired, he takes him out. If someone can tell him that if you limit Hampton to 20 carries a game, he wouldn't get hurt, he wouldn't let him carry it more than 20 times. But he says you can easily get hurt on the 5th carry or the 35th carry. He just plays to win.
There was also a controversial decision made about Lawrence Taylor. What's been the fallout from that?
Well, it did prompt a meeting this week between Taylor and Reeves, and the reason is for the first time in his 13-year career, Taylor got taken out of the game, and it wasn't his choice. The coaching staff thought he was limping, he had a bad hamstring, and they pulled him out and basically told him they want him there for the whole season. They weren't just concerned about one game.
Well, whose decision was it to take him out?
It was Dan Reeves' decision, and what Taylor told Reeves in the meeting was that he thought it was Mike Nolan's decision, the defensive coordinator, and that's why he didn't go to Reeves on the sideline to complain about it, because he did not want to go over Nolan's head.
All right, well, let's leave New York for a while and go to my home state, Ohio. There's a big quarterback controversy going on in Cleveland. Bernie Kosar just received a $27 million contract. Does that mean that he's going to be the starter throughout?
No, not necessarily. In fact, Art Modell, the Browns owner, said that contract was actually agreed to in July of '92. The reason they waited was to see about the salary cap and how to properly structure it. It was finalized a few weeks ago before Kosar was benched against the Raiders, before he was benched against the Colts. So obviously, Bill Belichick is not being influenced at all by Kosar's new contract.
The other quarterback story, of course, Randall Cunningham. Is he out for the season?
No, not necessarily. He had the surgery on Wednesday for his broken left leg, but the Eagles did not place him on injury reserve. If they did, it would have meant he couldn't play or practice for the rest of the season. By not putting him on IR, they're holding out hope he'll be ready for the playoffs if they make the playoffs.
Well, this week the Oilers go back to the site of that playoff collapse in Buffalo last year. Buddy Ryan wasn't a part of it, but I'm sure he has something to say.
Yeah, that's right. When I saw Buddy recently, he said, everybody blamed that collapse on the defense, but if you look at the game objectively, that the whole team, he said, played as if it had brain damage. They only ran the ball 4 times in the second half. They didn't manage the clock properly. But now Buddy gets a chance to go to Buffalo to see if he can stop the Bills. And the Oilers being 1-3, they need the defense to play well Monday night.
Brain damage, huh? He ought to be on this show. No, sitting over there with Lenny Dawson, that's where he should be. All right, Lenny, back to you.
Aha, brain damage, huh? Chris, wait till you've worked with Nick Buoniconti as long as I have, and then we'll see how you act. Well, this past week, 2 would-be Super Bowl contenders rolled along. The Saints were impressive, as was Kansas City's Joe Montana, while he lasted.
We're going to win today. And the score is going to be 27-4. 4? 4? Yeah. It's going to be 3, okay? Or 3.
Okay, here's the deal. This is going to be my 25th time singing the national anthem here today for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm 22-2. And seeing how it's the Raiders, and it's a beautiful day in Arrowhead, I got a feeling we're going to win today.
It was indeed a star-spangled day in Kansas City, complete with America's most celebrated quarterback and one of football's most emotional rivalries. On the Chiefs' first series, Joe Montana drove his team to the Raider goal line. And everyone expected ex-Raider Marcus Allen to get the call for the touchdown.
He falls away, hands off to Mark. No, it's a fake, and he goes in the end zone. Touchdown! Joe Valerio.
The Chiefs kept the Raiders off balance as Montana found the end zone again on his second possession.
Back to pass, looks left, cocks his arm, throws a line drive into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Oh, baby, what a play!
After completing 7 of 9 passes, Montana's near-perfect afternoon ended abruptly in the second quarter.
Montana rolling from the pocket, cocking his arm, being chased. Pump fakes, runs to the 35, angles to the sideline. Oh, they get a late hit again.
Looked like his legs. The guy rolled up on his legs.
He's down. Montana is down on the sideline, and David Craig is warming up.
Montana's pulled hamstring forced Dave Craig into the game.
Come on, baby, blow him off the ball.
And Craig knew exactly who should get the ball as Marcus Allen beat his old teammates for his 100th career touchdown and a 21-3 Chiefs lead. It was a milestone to savor for the longtime Raiders star. While Allen celebrated his 100th touchdown, a new Raiders star blasted off with his first.
Winds up, arches a pass down the near side. He's got Rocket, and over the shoulder catch, touchdown.
Rocket Ismail's fourth quarter score, however, was nothing more than a temporary setback for the Chiefs and their fans.
Let's go, Chiefs!
Kansas City's fans were as ravenous as its defense. And it was number 90, Neil Smith, who accounted for 4 of his team's 6 sacks. After hammering the Raiders, the Chiefs hope the youthful enthusiasm of their defense continues to help them grow into a championship contender this Sunday against the Bengals.
We are about to begin a long winning streak by taking it one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 victory at a time. Our purpose now is Cincinnati and nothing else. That's it.
Seattle's purpose last week was a 3rd straight win, and rookie quarterback Rick Mirer was fired up and ready to deliver. Number 3 is proving to be worth the Seahawks' number 1 pick in last year's draft. A 39-yard pass to Kelvin Martin set up Seattle's first touchdown, for which Mirer deserves the credit.
Setting up, stepping up in the pocket. Hey, Ryan gets the goal line. Touchdown.
Mirer may not be the top-rated quarterback yet, but he's playing better than Stan Humphries. Humphries completed just 12 of 27 Sunday, and when his receivers were not extending themselves to grab his passes, they were catching a face full of Seattle's defense instead. Even with Dan McGuire in for Mirer, the Seahawks offense kept coming as well.
Straight back, looking with good protection, down the middle, fires, and caught for a touchdown.
Mirer returned, however, to deliver the final blow.
Mirer looks to the right, lobs in the end zone to Kelvin Martin out there. Got it! Touchdown!
Seattle soundly beat the Chargers, who face Pittsburgh this Sunday. The road to the NFC West title took the Saints through sunny Southern California last week, a land of Hollywood stars and beautiful blondes. And while New Orleans fit in with a stellar performance, it was hardly pretty.
4 wide receivers. Wilson to pass. Looks over the middle. Fires one down the middle. It's tipped. Caught. Touchdown Saints. Patrick Newman on a gift at the goal line.
The Saints took the town and the field by storm, dominating the Rams on offense, defense, and special teams.
The 26-yard line up to the 30. Jukes a player at the 35. Now at the 40 open. 45, 50, 45, 40. He may score. Look at him go. Down to the 20. He's to the 10. Touchdown Saints.
Tyrone Hughes' 74-yard punt return was followed by another great run, this time by Derek Ned, that wrapped up the Saints' 21-point fourth quarter.
Still running, loose at the 20, he may score, 15, to the 10, Derek Ned, touchdown, how about...
The Saints can celebrate their 5th straight win for 2 weeks because they have a bye this Sunday.
Despite trading linebacker Pat Swilling, the Saints lead the NFL in sacks and they're on pace to sack enemy quarterbacks over 60 times this season. Their leader is 35-year-old Rickey Jackson, who, like a fine wine, gets better and better with age. Jackson has 5 sacks this season, 18.5 in his last 21 games. He joins Nick now.
Thank you, Lenny. Congratulations, Rickey. 5-0 so far. I played 15 years in the National Football League, and the question I have for you is, how does a player in his 13th season turn it up and have such a career year?
I think being in good shape and knowing the game plan, being prepared every week when I go out there on the field. I have a great young coach, and he pushes me a lot, and he's staying on top of me and making sure that I do the right thing.
Age doesn't seem to bother you. I mean, are you into any sort of a workout program that's special this year?
Not really. I'm doing the same thing I always been doing in the past. Only thing, I'm probably lifting weights a little bit more right now and getting a little stronger every week, and that's basically it.
You know, you're playing out a 2-year contract with no option, so this is going to make you a completely free agent at the end of the season. Do you think the New Orleans Saints are going to give you the big bucks? Or are you going to be wearing a different uniform somewhere else?
Well, I really can't answer that question yet, Nick. I gave them a proposal that I thought was real fair, and trying to get a contract for about 2 years where I can be with the Saints for the rest of my career. And they got me on hold right now, so I dropped everything. I won't talk about contract no more this year, and after the season, I'll just wait and see what happens.
Well, do you hold anything against the Saints for not signing you this year and giving you some sort of security?
Well, I mean, you always do in a way, you know, because there's a lot of people around the league still getting contracts that I know don't mean as much to their team as I do. So, in a way you do, but then I'm a New Orleans Saint, so I really can't never hold anything against them because, you know, I mean, this is my first team, and it's the only team that I ever want to really play for, so I'll always be a Saint, one way or the other.
Well, the Saints are leading the NFL in rushing, and I know that every day you practice against rookie offensive lineman Willie Roaf. I mean, he's come on so fast as an offensive lineman. What difference does he make in your offense?
He make a whole lot different because I haven't seen nobody beat him yet, and I think by me working with him every week, showing him what the other guy's going to do on defense, look like I'm the only one that can beat him. So I think that as long as he go up against me and I get a chance to beat him every now and then, he get a chance to see what the other guy's going to do, he'd be prepared a lot better.
With Pat Swilling gone and Sam Mills injured, the defense is still as good as it's ever been, isn't it?
The defense is as good as it's ever been. RT doing real good on the other side. He rushing well. He playing the run great. Sam Mills out the middle, so they get a chance to run up the middle just a little more than what we like around here. But the big difference is the guy Jim Wilkes, the nose tackle, he out, and he's a good two-gap player. So you're missing a two-gap player right there, and you're missing a two-gap player with Sam Mills. That's why they get a chance to run a little bit, but we're going to tighten that up.
Well, you've had a great year so far, Rickey. Good luck the rest of the season.
All right, appreciate it, Nick.
Back to you, Lenny.
Nick, thank you very much. Chris, I want you to explain something to me because you do such a great job of it.
Oh, yeah.
Rickey Jackson said that Wilkes, the nose tackle, was a two-gap defensive player. Does that have anything to do with his teeth?
No, but you know what it means. All it means that as a defensive lineman, you can't be as aggressive rushing the passer because you are responsible for the gap on either side of the man that's blocking you.
So you got to take control of that guy and you can't go anyplace. I think Rickey Jackson would prefer to be a one-gap guy. That means go right after the quarterback.
That's what he does.
He does it very well, too. Last week, 2 road trips ended in predictable results. The Indianapolis Colts were smoked in Mile High Stadium, and the faltering Packers got whooped in Texas by the resurgent Cowboys.
The Pack, baby! We're back! This year, America's original team! We need a W today is what we need, though.
The Green Bay Packers knew that victory in Texas Stadium would be out of their hands.
Those hands are worth a lot.
A whole lot. You're going to see what they're worth today. Deep. Real deep.
But deep in the heart of Texas, every cowhand welcomed back superstar running back Emmitt Smith.
Field the ball cleanly back there, Colangelo. Okay, front line, be ready. Marcus, make sure you look for a special kick, like a dribbler or something. Look at me, look at me.
Packers special teams were warned about an onside kick.
Right, they're converted. Let's go get their ass. 1, 2, 3, go!
In the second quarter, Eddie Murray's wrong-footed kickoff and impeccable execution yielded a perfect play. The Packers' Marcus Wilson, number 29, was knocked off the ball by number 39, Derek Gainer, and the Cowboys recovered the free football. Troy Aikman exploited the Packers' secondary by matching up 6'3" Alvin Harper with Green Bay's smallish cornerbacks. Harper not only outjumps defenders, but outraces them as well. And his gaudy 27 yards per catch is the best in the NFL. Aikman generaled an almost flawless offense, which produced 36 points and the first touchdown of the year by the two-time NFL rushing champion.
To throw. Deep left. Got his man at the 40, and he's breaking away. Michael Irvin to the 20. It's a foot race to the 5. It is a 61-yard.
Single coverage yielded 7 catches worth 155 yards and a touchdown. But a greedy Michael Irvin wanted much more.
One more kick. Hey, put him out right now. Set him down right here with Simon. I'm trying to get ready. No. You already ready. Anybody leaving time to get ready? It should be me out there. I'm trying to get ready. Enough is enough. Hey, don't let him intimidate you before I let him win back in. I got you a nice Christmas gift. Maybe something better than that Rolex I got you last year.
With their second straight victory, the Cowboys were back in the saddle again and ready to ride the Colts into the ground on Sunday. There's nothing like the sound of heavy metal in the morning. But by late afternoon, the Colts were suffering from metal fatigue as the Denver Broncos ripped them apart bolt by bolt, rivet by rivet. The Colts, who had never won in Denver, lost again and left Mile High Stadium looking like survivors from a mosh pit at a Lollapalooza concert. John Elway, however, looked spit cleaned and spotless, and he drove the Broncos to touchdowns on their first 4 possessions.
The reverse coming, and it's going to be a pass by Marshall. Wide open, Russell, touchdown!
While the underrated Broncos have been a major surprise this season, their next opponent, the overrated Green Bay Packers, have been the season's major disappointment. Ahead, a football original, Joe Kapp in our Where Are They Now feature, and Warren Moon enduring the critics in our Player Diary.
Critics, I'll tell you where the critics are growing. That's in Green Bay with the Pack's disappointing 1-3 start. But they're at home this week against the much-improved 3-1 Broncos. Chris, I think everybody realized a victory for Green Bay this week would be very, very important. My question to you is, what's wrong with the Pack?
Well, the problem is that everybody has figured out how to stop Brett Favre in that offense, and that's to blitz him. And they will not stop until the Packers show some big play capability. Right now, the Packers are averaging just over 9.5 yards per completion, and that's way down the list in the National Football League. Now, I know Mike Holmgren likes that short ball control type of offense, but he has to begin to take some shots down the field to Sterling Sharp to back up that defense. If he doesn't, Brett Favre is going to continue to look like the fugitive. Remember that movie? He's running for his life all over the place.
And I'll tell you what, that final chapter has not been written because the Denver Broncos come to town. And the Broncos, to me, are a tale of two teams. On defense, they're small and quick, but on offense, they remind me of an NFC East team. Big, strong offensive lineman like Habib and Zimmerman, big, strong quarterback in John Elway, and a big running back in Rod Bernstein. Elway loves this offensive scheme. The points per game have gone up from 16 last year to 25 this year. And more important for Elway, he's only been sacked 4 times.
Sacked 4 times in the first 4 ball games? Last year in the first 4 ball games, he was sacked 14 times. No wonder John Elway is smiling and happy about this offense. I don't see things changing this week, even though the Packers have Reggie White. Reggie White does not have people like Seth Joyner or Clyde Simmons working with him on that defense. You can handle Reggie White. All you have to do is either double team him or roll away from him, then John Elway would have a lot of time to throw. That's why I like the Denver Broncos.
Well, I think it's ball control of the Denver Broncos also. I agree with Chris. I think Holmgren's having problems with the offense. I like Denver.
Well, this is a football team that has to consider this game against Denver as their Super Bowl. The Green Bay Packers, if they can win here, they have the Bucs and the Bears in their next two games with a chance to turn around their season. I think the Packers will put it together at home. I like Green Bay.
You always make so much sense, but I like Elway in Denver, too. You know, talking about Elway, if we could equate John Elway to a sports car, then former Viking Joe Kapp would be something closer to a pickup truck. But with Joe Kapp, what he lacked in artistry, he made up with a big heart. This man had a long and winding road in pro football. We hear about it in our Where Are They Now?
I had so much fun playing quarterback, I think it showed. I learned from the old school. You didn't run out of bounds. You were a complete football player. As a quarterback, your job was to help other players on the team as best you can and get the job done. That's my definition of how to play the game.
Joe Kapp loved the game of football, but his brief 4-year career in the NFL was a turbulent one. It was the business of pro football which always got in the way. But this tough Chicano was always prepared for battle. An All-American out of the University of Cal, Kapp always expected to play in the NFL. When the Redskins drafted him in the 17th round, a dejected Kapp opted instead to go to Canada. 8 years in the CFL, Kapp became an accomplished veteran. Then in 1967, Kapp left the Canadian League and made his way into the NFL.
To be able to go to the Minnesota Vikings at 29 years old, rookie in the NFL, after 8 seasons in Canada, we had won the championship up there, won the Grey Cup, but I had that urge, that real desire to come back to the National League and compete against NFL-type players.
Joe inspired teamwork with the motto 40 for 60. 40 men giving it their all for 60 minutes on the field as he quarterbacked the Vikings to Super Bowl IV. But a poor performance led to their defeat. With his contract expired, Kapp was traded to the Boston Patriots.
And now you become a migratory football worker. I grew up in California, now look at it. I've had to go to Canada, I've gone to Minnesota, now I'm at Boston. And that's being a professional football player.
It was here that Joe Kapp tested the waters of free agency some 20 years before its time. Refusing to sign the standard players contract, the Patriots released Kapp after 1 season, and for the next 6 years, his legal battles raged on. During this time, Joe got involved in films and TV, both producing and acting. And finally, in 1976, Kapp won his legal battle and became a pioneer in free agency. Unfortunately, he never played football again.
I learned from it. I learned a lot about business, the power of the NFL. But as you look back, you see the growth of it, too. We fought some issues, the draft, the Rozelle rule, these things in the court of law, and we won them.
Kapp did step back on the football field, however, but this time it was the head coach at his alma mater at the University of California. Today, Joe is a successful businessman and restaurateur. Co-owner of Stuffed Pizza with his brother, Kapp also runs Team Dynamics. With their philosophy of teamwork, Kapp and his partners are able to develop and market their products. Kapp, remarried now with a brand new team of players, fights his battles at a slightly slower pace. Today, Kapp is still living and learning, which means he can't afford to be bitter.
The best team I'm on right now is my family here. It's amazing what you learn from a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. And so there's too much good life. I'm an optimist that you look for those good things as opposed to look back and regret anything. You learn from the past. You just try to make new and better decisions from the battles that you fought in the past.
Joe Kapp, he was a breed you just don't see anymore. An early crusader for free agency, Kapp knew all about off-the-field distractions. And on Wednesday, we saw how life off the basketball court apparently contributed to Michael Jordan's retirement. As Warren Moon tells us in this week's Player Diary, the pain is not always confined to the game on the field.
There is no greater feeling in sports at any level than to hear the cheers of the crowd. Not only do you feel the thrill or the rush inside, but this feeling is also shared by family members and friends. By the same token, when those cheers turn to boos and name-calling, you sometimes want to find a rock to crawl under, and your family feels for you too. On occasion, my children have had to experience the unpleasant feeling of hearing their dad being booed. People tend to think this game is all glamour and good times. Players make good money and have fame and community status, but we as well as our families are human with the same sensitive feelings as everyone else. There is no worse feeling than losing the game, playing poorly, and then having to listen to the boos. And the absolute worst part is the effect it has on your family. After a recent loss, my son Joshua came to me in the locker room with tears in his eyes. In an instant, I go from Warren the football player to Warren the dad. I hugged him first and I asked him what was wrong. He said, "I'm tired of people booing you and calling you names." I told him people tend to blame the quarterback when things don't go right, that people expect a lot from me, and when they don't get it, they're very disappointed. And I also explained there is ignorance in the world regarding race, and if he could somehow be strong and develop tough skin, it would help me to be strong, because the booing only bothers me when I know it bothers my family. As my children get older, I hope they will understand our situation. I doubt it. It's human nature to hurt for the ones you love. That's why I must remain strong to help heal the wounds this sport may inflict on my family. I must remain strong because this game will never change, and fans will be fans, will be fans.
For those of us who have played for any length of time in the National Football League, I think we can understand what Warren Moon is talking about. But there is a bright side. If you win on Sunday, it changes the attitude of those fans.
I don't know how Houston's going to win, Lenny. I understand the coaches communicate by mail these days.
I didn't know that. He's strong. He's tough, isn't he? Let's see how tough he was in the pick segment last week.
Not so bad.
Not so bad. Chris, yeah. For the season, Chris again. Now, you were with me last week, and all of a sudden you left me.
Trust me, you'll be back.
All right, earlier in the show, we discussed several games and made our selections. Now it's time to pick the rest of the games. First, the ones that we agree on. The Cowboys will win their third in a row, beating Indianapolis. Jack Trudeau will most likely start for the Colts. Kansas City will defeat Cincinnati with or without Joe Montana. Phoenix will get by New England. Now for the rest of the games in detail. Chicago at Philadelphia. And since I did so well last week when you started again.
Oh, good. Well, Bobby Brister's a quarterback, and I think ordinarily you'd say, that means I don't like Philadelphia so much. But he was brilliant last week. He had the best week just about anybody in the National Football League. Why not? I'll take the Eagles.
You know, I think the thing you need to remember about the Eagles is 2 years ago when Cunningham tore up his knee in the first game of the season, they went ahead and won 10 games that year with McMahon and a bunch of backups. I don't think the Eagles are going to fall apart here. I like them to win.
Well, Rich Kotite is so used to coaching the Eagles without the starting quarterback that, you know, this is natural for him. I think the defense comes to the rescue for the Eagles this week against the Bears. I like Philadelphia.
Well, the Eagles have won 12 straight at home. I like Philadelphia as well. All right, Gary, we got the Jets at the Raiders.
You know, Lenny, it was strange in the offseason. Boomer Esiason came really close to being traded to the Raiders, and if that happened, Jeff Hostetler might have signed with the Jets. It happened the other way around. I think the Jets are really happy the way it happened. Tough loss last week, emotional loss for them, but I think they'll bounce back against the Raiders.
I don't. I think this is the week Jeff Hostetler comes back and he hits the Rocket. The Rocket's going to be in full gear this week, and you've got Anthony Smith, the defensive end, is having a great year, so I like the Raiders at home.
Well, the Jets are really banged up on that offensive line, some real problems. I don't think they're going to be able to protect Boomer Esiason. I like the Raiders, too.
Do you think the Rocket was half-dressed last week instead of full-dressed this week? I'll tell you, the Raiders last week had 16 penalties against the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't see that happening again. I look for the Raiders to win one. We got San Diego at Pittsburgh.
Well, it's the running game of Pittsburgh against the San Diego Chargers, now looking for a quarterback. Humphreys on the bench, Freeze is in the ball game. Offense is going nowhere. The defense is not performing. I like Pittsburgh.
I saw Pittsburgh and Neil O'Donnell a couple of weeks ago, and he had a big lump on his elbow. Was really having problems early in the season. But
too much leaning on that bar.
I guess so. But apparently he's turned the whole thing around. I like Pittsburgh.
It's really amazing what happened to Stan Humphries this year. 19 for 53 in his last 2 games. I think Bobby Ross did the only thing he could do at this point to try to get that offense going. But I like Pittsburgh.
What do
in
they
this
do?
game.
Jump start him or what?
John
Freeze.
How about the defense of Pittsburgh? I think that's the strong thing. San Diego was supposed to have a great defense, but they haven't been playing up to their potential. I like Pittsburgh. We got Tampa Bay at Minnesota, Chris.
Well, the Buccaneers lost their star receiver in Lawrence Dawsey. He has been their go-to guy the last couple of years. I don't think that Reggie Cobb can do it by himself offensively. I like Minnesota.
Well, I love to see how you're serious when you discuss that, too.
Well, yeah, I'm into Tampa Bay.
Wow.
I think the Vikings expected a lot more when they signed Jim McMahon in the offseason. So far, 3 touchdown passes, 2 of his interceptions be returned for touchdowns. I think they'll start to get straightened out this week because I don't think Tampa Bay is capable of winning 2 in a row.
Yeah, but Minnesota's not exactly playing the Dallas Cowboys. They're playing an offense that barely could get going last week, even though they won the football game. They're playing up in Minnesota. I don't even know why we're even talking about it. I'll take the Vikings. Jeez.
I'll tell you. Go Minnesota, buddy.
You know,
oh, he's a tail. Okay.
You know.
I agree with you, Nick. Up in Minnesota, I like them as well. All right, Monday night we got Houston at Buffalo.
Well, this is a big game for Houston, 1-3, besides the fact they're going back to the place where they blew a 35-3 lead in the playoffs. I think I'm going for the upset in this game. I saw Buffalo last week. I think their offense is having a ton of problems. I'll take Houston.
I don't think it's an upset, Gary. How could you call it an upset? Buffalo has not played well. They're really not blocking well. They're having all kinds of problems on their offensive line. Jim Kelly is not as healthy as he should be. Thurman Thomas comes out of the game at least 2 or 3 times every time. I'm going to take the Oilers.
I like it.
This is the same guy that said that they were writing to each other to communicate?
That's right, yeah. I like it, though. I picked up a game on both of these guys. Easy pick. I like Buffalo.
I like Buffalo as well at home. Well, that's our show for this week. Remember, we premiere each Thursday evening at 11 p.m. If you miss any part of it, you can catch it once again Fridays at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 11 a.m. Those times are Eastern and Pacific. Join us again next week for HBO's Inside the NFL. World Championship Boxing returns to HBO Sports October 29th. Tommy Morrison defending his WBO heavyweight title against Michael Bent. And James Toney fighting to keep his IBF super middleweight crown against Tony Thornton. Catch it live, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific.
I'll tell you what we'll do now. We're going to go ahead and go with a top